Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Elma. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts, reviewing, demoing the new NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. If it's something you're interested in, keep on watching. Enjoy.
I gotta tell you something I could do.
So let's get into this. So this is what Sephora says about the foundation. It is a full coverage, transfer proof, oxidization resistant foundation that lasts for up to 16 hours with natural looking matte finish. It retails for 53 Canadian dollars. In this you get 1.5 ounces or 45 milliliters, and this foundation is full coverage. It has a matte finish and it's for all skin types, aka normal, dry, combination, oily. This foundation comes in 34 shades, and the shade that I decided to pick up this time around was Aruba, and it is a medium to medium dark with olive undertone. So the reason why I chose this shade is because I use the shade finder from the Sephora website, and usually it's pretty spot on. I was quite intrigued that it chose Aruba for me instead of Syracuse, which is usually my go-to, which is medium to medium dark skin with golden undertone. I do have some other NARS foundations, and those are the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. I really love this foundation. However, this is in the shade Tahoe, and Tahoe is my summer shade, as in when I have been tanning under the equator line, this is the shade for me. Another foundation from NARS that I really love is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. You've seen it plenty times on my channel, and my shade is Syracuse, and this is like a perfect match. I'll have a little swatch here so you can see what they look like side by side. That is that for the foundation. Now let's get into the application. So this foundation is honestly not very forgiving. So if, like me, you have dry skin, you really want to prep your skin. I've already like done my skincare earlier, but I will add this to like kind of like revive everything, and it's the It's Skin Hyaluronic Acid Moisture Toner. I love this so much. It's kind of it's kind of like a thick toner, and it's just like super duper hydrating, and it really does help with this foundation. Unlike the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte, I find that this foundation is definitely drier and is not forgiving at all if you don't prep your skin. And if you have like dry skin, it'll cling on to all the dryness. You want to make sure like when you're applying this foundation, I do admit is one of the ones I like the least in terms of like feel when I mess up. You know, there are some foundations like you mess them up, you're just like, okay, I'll do this workaround and it'll work. This one is one of those that's not very forgiving, so you've been warned. First off, I'm gonna go in with a primer, a really hydrating one, and I'm gonna be using the Pro Filter Hydrating Primer by Fenty. Love this stuff. Like, ugh, my skin just takes it all in. The thing is, I did take this foundation with me a couple of weeks ago to North Hatley, little weekend getaway. That's all I had with me. I had the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer as my primer, and it did do a pretty good job at like hydrating, but I realized like the second time I applied it, I really went heavier on my hydration prior to putting on, because when I first put it on, I was just like, this is nice, but it's clinging on to everything. So what I like about this foundation, it has like this sort of like little tubey, like it's a plastic, but it's a heavy matte plastic. It has like this, you know, usual NARS feel to it, but it comes in a little tube like this, so it's very kit friendly. I'm going in with a beauty blender because honestly that's the best way to apply it. I just have this going on, and you'll see this is super duper full coverage, as you can see. I wonder how Syracuse it would be on me. This is a foundation that honestly you don't really need to set. And the reason why I'm not using it with a brush is because, like I said, I have tried this foundation before, and I just want to cut to the chase of how this works best. And it's definitely with a sponge. This is what it looks like on one side. Done. I didn't do the usual dipping thing where I dot it on my face because it dries quite fast, so you really want to make sure that your sponge is damp and that you just like directly, you know, put it in there. because that's the best way to make it work. So let me just zoom you in so you can see. And you still have like some luminosity peeking through, and that's definitely my skin prep and my primer doing the work. But it has really good coverage. If you're new to my channel and you don't know this about me, I love medium coverage foundation. I'm not so into full coverage. Like the most full coverage foundation I own and that I love is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish foundation. That's where it's at for me. Unlike some of my other foundations, this one, when it fades, it doesn't fade nicely. Like it really doesn't. Like this foundation is not very forgiving. I feel like if you have oily skin, you might enjoy it way more, because by the end of the day, like your oils and all that, like I feel like it can combat them but at the same time work together. But when you have dry skin, it's just dry. There's nothing to help in any way, shape or form. So one side done, and one side not done. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and just add a little bit more, and really like just a little bit, and just go in. So if you can work in sections, do that. And as you've seen, it's been a couple minutes and like there's no, you know, oxidization. So this is what it looks like. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it at this. This is enough for me. You could definitely add more, but this coverage to me is perfect. It's hidden everything. I'm not gonna need to put a lot of concealer. I don't need to set this. Like this is done. I'm gonna finish up my face and I'll be right back. Dans la vidéo, tu dis coucou. Coucou. Oh, il y en a plus. Kisses all over. I love you. Yeah, I still gotta film. Oh, could you close this for me, please? Since I'm short. Okay, so there you have it. This is what everything looks like. Like upon first inspection, it looks cute. Like I did my makeup and everything, it looks cute. However, when you come up close, and I'm gonna do just that. When you come up close, I'm not very impressed. So I'm really happy I did this review at this moment, because truly this application has given me a better understanding and my final thoughts on this foundation. So when I first wore this foundation over that weekend, what I was looking at was, did it stay on and did it transfer, like, you know, onto my mask and shit. Those two pass with flying colors. It is a long wearing foundation without a doubt. Also, it is transfer proof. Like I wore the mask and everything, perfect for that. But the thing is, because the lighting wasn't good at that cottage that we were staying at, I didn't really look at my skin, like how it looked. Like it photographed well and everything. This foundation photographs really well. Like I took a couple of shots just right now. Like I'll put them up somewhere. Let me zoom you guys out real quick. You know, so I took a couple of shots, they look good. However, when I look up close to this foundation, I am so happy that I truly prepped my skin for it, as in like moisturized and all that good stuff, because I think that if I hadn't, it would have looked worse. Because from afar it looks good, it really does, but like when you come up close, in this area here, you see how like textured, I don't know if it's because it's just moving because I'm just talking, but I swear the Nigerian peaks in me. But like you see over here how the texture is just so textured, and the thing is, like, my face is not that textured to you know, to my knowledge. I'm like, we're not textured like that. So where this apparent texture is coming from is kind of like beyond me. I'm just like, I don't really get it. Like I don't know, like I'm not there's something, and I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's because of the foundation shade, because that's another thing, that this foundation shade, like Aruba, is definitely not for me. Like, do you see how I have kind of like this sign of gray white cast thing going on, that's because the undertone is wrong, and that is totally on me. But to my defense, when I was looking at like the arm swatches on the website, like on Sephora, like it was kind of like, I don't know, it really made it seem like Syracuse wasn't that color. I think that if they had put Aruba on top of Syracuse on the third arm swatch, like on that medium deep arm swatch, I would have definitely chosen Syracuse over Aruba. But because it was on this, that's why it's so important to see like arms, like foundation swatches on like the closest skin tone possible, because like, yeah, that skewed my judgment. So Aruba is not my shade and Syracuse is definitely my shade. So I'm gonna see if I can return this or exchange it or something, but you know, in this period, I don't know if it's gonna be a possibility. So final thoughts, if you have dry skin like me, honestly, I would say skip it. Like, it's so hard to work with. I want to know if you have oily skin and if you've tried it, like what's your experience with it, because like if like me you have dry skin, in all honesty, I think you should skip it and you should just stick to maybe the Fenty, because that one, although soft matte, is very forgiving and it's very easy to work with. This one you definitely have to work in sections, use a little amount because it can easily look heavy. This is just one layer with a sponge and you're good to go. So for that full coverage, all that, it's definitely amazing. But I will say, for the kind of makeup that I like, I cannot recommend this with a full heart. Like I think I would give this like maybe a 6, and the only reason I'm doing that is because of the longevity of it and the fact that it does not transfer and it does not oxidize. So those are the reasons why I'm giving it this grade. This is most definitely probably for oily skin people. My dry skin does not like it. If you want to know about other foundations that did work for me, I would recommend that you know, subscribe to my channel. I have another foundation review coming up. I had a foundation like glossier review a couple of videos back, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah, this NARS one is not for me. If you like this video and it was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up and comment so you can let me know. And so yeah, there are a couple of videos that have just popped up on the screen. You should definitely check them out. I'll have a couple of links and product details in the description box for you to check out, so don't skip on that, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.